Hey guys, what's up? It's Steven M for Plastic5 here, and thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be ranting about spin-offs and season extensions to shows that really just didn't quite hit the mark and could have just been done way better. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying that I wasn't as pleased to watch those. I wasn't as satisfied watching those as I was watching the original seasons. So I'm just gonna be talking about this, making it almost like in a list format and saying what they did wrong, really. So I'm just gonna list off, just straight off the bat here. I'm gonna list the shows that just either season twos or spin-offs that I just feel that they didn't drop the ball necessarily. For some of them they did, but for most of these, there's really four on this list, but for basically half of this list, they had the right idea, but I don't think they really brought it like they did in the first seasons or first show, whatever. Fargo season 2, Better Call Saul, Fear the Walking Dead, and True Detective season 2. So I'm going to be talking about Fargo season 2 to begin this. Fargo season 2, I love the first season. Now, don't get me wrong, the second season is good. I love the cinematography, what they did with it, the theming, the story. The story was good, but the thing I've noticed with the originals of all of these, like Better Call Saul or Fargo season 1, True Detective season 1, The Walking Dead, the development of the characters was much better. The way from the beginning they developed their characters, and you really got a feel for them. They were likable throughout, Fargo, Lester, you really got a feel. They developed that character first, then they introduced the villain. In Better Call Saul, in the Breaking Bad, they developed Walter White and his family and all the characters, then they introduced the villain. True Detective, they developed their characters throughout the whole entire show, like as most of these. But the development process started early and extended, and you really got a feel for them. In Fargo season 2, they introduced too many characters and didn't develop them as much. And the protagonists could either have been Peggy and the other guy's name. I know it's a lot, but I'm forgetting his name. But just the couple that is the main protagonist basically weren't as likable, in my opinion. And they tried developing them, but it wasn't as developed as I thought they would make it. But the show itself is actually pretty good, as cool action scenes, but I didn't really feel for any of them. So the deaths weren't as intense. They weren't as impactful as they were in Fargo season 1. And the villain, this accounts for just a whole mob basically. It was just like a whole mafia, type of a story. So it wasn't that crazy of a story to just really feed off in the villain. There wasn't one just main villain, although the whole gang was basically the villains. There wasn't really one main villain that I saw. Better Call Saul. This is one of those prime examples that just its mere association with Breaking Bad, it's just going to get crazy amount of reviews. And I just don't like that. The idea that, don't get me wrong, I love Breaking Bad. It's my favorite show. It was one of the best, if it was the best made show I think ever. They had everything on par. The acting, the story, the cinematography, the writing, the music, everything was just on par. Like, not on par, top notch. It was just way beyond anything that TV had done. And it's still the benchmark. It's still the standard. Who can beat Breaking Bad? And nobody's yet to do it. They're close, in my opinion. Many of them are close and up there, which means excellent. There's excellent TV shows out there I love, that aren't to the par, but in their own unique way, they could match it in their own unique way. So, that's just my opinion on it. But Better Call Saul, just its mere association, is bumping up those reviews to 10 and insane things like that. And I disagree with those reviews because I feel that the show is developing a character that is witty but not likable enough. That's my opinion. I don't think Saul is likable enough, and I don't think that the spin-off was really is really going in the direction I thought it would. Nothing much happens, and a lot of the time I could sum up the episodes just basically in one sentence, and that is just it. That's tough for a show, when you could yes, many shows you could sum up the show in a sentence, but you'd have to watch it to really get a feel for what it is. But Better Call Saul is one of those few shows where I could tell you in a full sentence what happened, and you wouldn't have to watch it because it would be so straightforward that you wouldn't be missing anything extra, like music-wise or intensity. You wouldn't be really missing that much because it's so straightforward. And the writing is witty, yes. I like, the crispness of the show, just how it looks. I like all those elements, but it's really just doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. They're trying to develop a character that's not really that likable to begin with. That's just my opinion on him. But I do give the show like an 8 to an 8.5, but no way would I give it a 9 or a 10 that it's getting, just because it's association with Breaking Bad. Next is Fear the Walking Dead. The last two on these lists, Fear the Walking Dead and True Detective Season 2, were the epitome of basically dropping the ball, starting with great source material. By source, I mean the season before. I know Fear the Walking Dead is a spinoff, but True Detective, they did such a good job on Season 1 of True Detective, and then they just dropped the ball. The characters were not great in Season 2. The villains, everything was just not even close. They just butchered it. I don't know what they did to it. They just butchered it completely. Was I even watching something that was associated? It's so different though, different characters, different everything, that it could be considered a spin-off in its own right. There's no linkage between any Season 1 or Season 2. So True Detective Season 2 was just its own little thing, its own little mess, I could say. Fear the Walking Dead, the spin-off, new characters, new everything, just like the other ones on this list. They dropped the ball on that one too. They had The Walking Dead. They had the hook. People were hooked and were willing to watch Fear the Walking Dead, and they make this atrocity. The characters are not likable. They are not. The acting is not great, and just the action sequences, everything is just under par. It's not great. The characters are not that likable. They do dumb decisions. They They basically lived up to the kind of stereotypical cliche mistakes they do. Just cliche. How they do dumb decisions, how they react to things. Just the characters were not well developed. They were not liked, and that's just what killed the show for me. The little that it had going for itself. I mean, the show, both Fear the Walking Dead and True Detective Season 2 were just busts. They were bad, both of them. And, that's just what I think. That's just my opinion, obviously. If you disagree, please respectfully tell me below why you disagree. What you thought of all the shows. What do you thought of my opinion? And I'd love to hear that below. As I said, I'm going to keep trying to upload more and more videos onto this channel. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. I'll have, out of all these, I probably would recommend Fargo Season 2, Better Call Saul. Don't watch Fear the Walking Dead. Don't watch True Detective Season 2. Those are busts in my opinion. But if you'd like, come back. Tell me what you think of those. Anyway, thanks for watching once again, and I'll catch you guys later.